Let me tell you a story. It begins with an idea. Not just any idea, but one that almost everyone hated at first. But this idea became one of the most famous things in the world. I want to tell you the story of the Eiffel Tower. In the late 1800s, something exciting was going to happen in Paris, France. Paris was getting ready for a big world event. It was called the World's Fair of 1889. This event was like a huge party for the whole world. Every country wanted to show something special. France wanted to show something that nobody could forget. So the leaders of France said, we need something amazing. Something tall. Something new. Something that shows how modern we are. And then came Gustave Eiffel. Gustave Eiffel was an engineer. He had already built bridges. He loved metal. He loved to build things that were strong and beautiful. His team had an idea. They wanted to build a tower. But not just any tower. A tower made of iron. A tower taller than anything anyone had ever seen. At that time, tall buildings were made of stone. Or wood. But Eiffel and his team wanted to use iron. People thought they were crazy. Some people even said, this is going to be ugly. Others said, it will fall. It's too big. It's too heavy. Still, Eiffel believed. He said, we will build this tower, and we will make it strong. And he started. In 1887, workers came to the Champ de Mars in Paris. This was a large field next to the River Seine. That's where the tower would stand. The workers dug deep holes. They filled them with stone and cement. That was the base. Then they began to build the legs. They used more than 18,000 iron pieces. Every piece was carefully made. Every piece was connected with big bolts. The workers used over 2.5 million rivets. It was hard work. But it was also smart work. Something amazing happened. As the tower grew taller, people began to stop and look. They were surprised. They said, it's not ugly. It's beautiful. They watched as the four legs rose higher and came together. They saw how strong the tower looked. Some still didn't like it. But many people started to change their minds. After 2 years, 2 months, and 5 days, the tower was finished. It was March 31st, 1889. Gustave Eiffel climbed all the way to the top. He raised the French flag. The tower stood 300 meters tall. That was taller than any building in the world at that time. People were shocked. How is this possible, they asked. But there it was, strong, proud, and shining in the sun. When the World's Fair opened, millions of people came to Paris. They saw the Eiffel Tower, and they were amazed. Some people waited in long lines to go up. The elevators took them higher and higher. From the top, they could see all of Paris. It was magic. The Eiffel Tower became the star of the fair. But do you know what's funny? The tower was not supposed to stay. It was only meant to stand for 20 years. After that, it was supposed to be taken down. Yes, taken apart, piece by piece. But something happened. People didn't want to lose it. They had fallen in love with the tower. It had become a part of Paris. And then something else happened, something smart. Eiffel found a way to save the tower. He put a radio antenna on top. This made the tower useful. It could send messages. The military could use it. Later, it helped with television and even early mobile phones. Because of this, the city decided to keep the tower. And thank goodness they did. Today, the Eiffel Tower is still in Paris. It is over 130 years old. More than 300 million people have visited it. Every year, about 7 million people go to see it. At night, it shines with lights. Every hour, it sparkles for 5 minutes. People take photos. They kiss. They laugh. The Eiffel Tower is not just a building. It is a feeling. Here's something you might not know. The Eiffel Tower grows. Yes, grows. In summer, when the sun is hot, the iron expands. The tower becomes 15 centimeters taller. In winter, it shrinks again. Isn't that amazing? Also, the color of the tower is not always the same. Every 7 years, the Eiffel Tower is painted again. It takes 60 tons of paint. Workers climb every part of it. The color now is called Eiffel Tower Brown. It's soft and warm. Before, it was even red or yellow. But here is maybe the most exciting part of this story. The Eiffel Tower was built with care. With hope. With bravery. Many people didn't believe in it. But Gustav Eiffel believed. He said, "Let's build something the world will never forget." And he was right. The Eiffel Tower was once just a dream. Now, it is a symbol of love, of light, and of possibility. The Eiffel Tower was born as a symbol of progress. But soon, it became something more. It became the heart of Paris. It became a tower of dreams. After the World's Fair ended in 1889, people kept coming to see the tower. They told their friends. They brought their families. People from all over the world came to Paris to go up the Eiffel Tower. Still, many artists in Paris were not happy. They wrote letters. They signed petitions. They said, "The tower is a metal monster. It does not belong in our beautiful city." But no one could stop what had already started. The people loved the tower. It made them feel proud. It made them feel modern. At night, gas lights lit the tower. Then later, electric lights were used. It began to shine in the dark sky like a star. Paris became the city of light, and the Eiffel Tower helped make it so. The tower had 3 levels. People could go up by stairs or by elevator. The elevators were special. They were some of the first of their kind. They moved up and sideways at the same time. At first, people were scared to use them. But soon, everyone wanted to ride them. On the first and second floors, there were restaurants and shops. You could sit and drink coffee while looking at the whole city below. On the 3rd floor, at the very top, you could see for miles. You could see the river, the bridges, the old buildings, and the new ones. You could feel the wind on your face. And you could feel something else, a kind of magic. During World War I, the Eiffel Tower helped in a new way. Its radio system was very strong. The French army used it to send secret messages. One time, it helped stop German troops from moving forward. The tower had become not just a symbol, but a tool for defense. That helped save it from being destroyed. In World War II, when Germany took over Paris, something strange happened. Hitler wanted to visit the Eiffel Tower. But the French had a clever plan. They cut the cables of the elevators. So if Hitler wanted to go to the top, he would have to climb the stairs, all 1,665 of them. He never did. The tower stayed tall, quiet, and proud, even in dark times. After the war, the world changed. Airplanes flew in the sky. Televisions showed pictures. Phones rang in every home. And still, the Eiffel Tower stayed. It was always there, reminding people of beauty, of history, and of hope. And then, something new began. People didn't just visit the Eiffel Tower. They began to dream about it. They wrote books. They painted it. They made movies. In romantic films, people kissed under the tower. In action movies, it was part of chases and escapes. It became a character, silent but strong. Tourists started coming in greater numbers. They took photos with the tower behind them. They stood at just the right angle to make it look like they were holding it in their hand, or pushing it over with one finger. Everyone wanted to take a little piece of the Eiffel Tower home, in a photo, a memory, or even a small souvenir. But how do you care for something so big and so old? The Eiffel Tower is cleaned and painted every few years. Painters climb every beam and brush every surface. It takes about 18 months to finish painting the whole thing. The tower is made of iron, so without paint, it would rust. The paint is like its skin, it protects it from the wind, the rain, the snow, and the heat. The tower also has strong security. There are guards and cameras. There are checks at the entrances. Every visitor is kept safe. That is important, because millions of people come each year. In fact, the Eiffel Tower is one of the most visited monuments in the world. It is visited even more than the pyramids in Egypt or the Statue of Liberty in the USA. And yes, people still go to the top. You can take the elevator. Or, if you are brave and strong, you can climb the stairs. It is hard work, but it is worth it. When you reach the top, you feel proud. And when you look out, you feel like you can fly. Here is something fun: every hour at night, the Eiffel Tower sparkles. Tiny lights flash all over it, like stars dancing. The show lasts for 5 minutes. People clap. They smile. They feel happy. And even if they don't speak French, they understand the feeling. The Eiffel Tower doesn't need words to speak to your heart. And now, let me ask you, do you know how many proposals happen on the Eiffel Tower? Thousands every year. People ask the most important question of their lives on this tower. Will you marry me? And often, the answer is yes. That's why many people call the Eiffel Tower the Tower of Love. But it's not just for lovers. It's for everyone. Children look up and say, wow. Old people remember their past. Artists find new ideas. And travelers say, this is it. I'm in Paris. The Eiffel Tower is not just metal. It is not just a building. It is a symbol of human courage. It shows what can happen when we dare to dream big. When we believe, even when others laugh. Gustave Eiffel once said, the tower is not only the art of the engineer. It is also the art of the dreamer. And he was right. Let's go back for a moment. Think about this: when Gustave Eiffel built the tower, it was the tallest structure in the world. It stayed the tallest for 41 years. No one had ever built something so high. But in 1930, a building in New York took that title. It was the Empire State Building. Still, the Eiffel Tower did not lose its fame. In fact, it became more famous. Now let's talk about something many people don't know. Gustave Eiffel built a small room at the top of the tower. This room was just for him. It was his secret space, high in the clouds. It had a desk, a chair, and soft furniture. Gustave Eiffel used it to meet scientists, writers, and special guests. Sometimes, he stayed there at night and looked at the stars. Today, you can see this room if you go to the top. There are even wax statues of Eiffel and his visitors. The Eiffel Tower has always been a place for dreams, but also for science. In the early years, many experiments were done on the tower. Weather tools were placed there. They measured the wind and the rain. One scientist dropped things from the tower to test how fast they would fall. Another used the tower to study air pressure. Later, radio and TV signals were sent from the top. In fact, this is one reason the tower was never destroyed. It was too useful. France needed it to talk to the world. And now let me tell you something fun. The Eiffel Tower has had some crazy visitors. In 1912, a man named Franz Reichelt made a kind of parachute. He wanted to fly from the Eiffel Tower. He believed he would float gently to the ground. People came to watch. Cameras were ready. But when he jumped, the parachute didn't open. He fell to his death. After that, jumping from the tower was not allowed. Still, the tower became a place for adventure. In 1984, 2 Englishmen used parachutes and jumped from the top, without permission. In 2015, 2 base jumpers did the same. And in 2008, a man climbed the whole tower with no ropes. He was arrested, but also became a legend. The tower has also seen joy and celebration. In 1999, for the new millennium, the Eiffel Tower had a special light show. At midnight, the tower shined brighter than ever before. People from all over the world watched on television. It was a moment of unity, of wonder, and of hope. And then came 2020. The world changed. A virus spread everywhere. Travel stopped. Streets became quiet. For a while, the Eiffel Tower was closed. It stood alone, without visitors. But even then, it did not lose its beauty. People looked at it from far away. They said, it's still there. It's waiting for us. And when it opened again, people cried. It felt like the heart of Paris had started beating again. Today, the Eiffel Tower continues to change. Not in shape, but in purpose. It now uses solar panels. It saves energy. It is becoming more green. There are also new ways to visit. You can book your ticket online. You can watch live cameras from the top. You can even learn about the tower through an app on your phone. And of course, the tower has many workers. There are chefs, cleaners, guards, guides, painters, and engineers. Every day, they keep the tower safe and clean. They help visitors. They protect the dream. Here's something very sweet. Every night, a man named Pierre climbs to the top to check the lights. He's been doing this job for 30 years. He says, "It's not just a tower. It's part of my life. When I touch it, I feel proud." That's how many people feel. The Eiffel Tower is not just French. It belongs to the world. People from every country come to see it. They speak different languages. But when they stand under the tower, they all feel the same thing: wonder. And here's something special you might not know. Sometimes, the Eiffel Tower becomes a canvas. On special days, lights turn it blue, red, green, or gold. Flags appear on it. Words move across it. On Earth Day, it becomes green. On Peace Days, it shows the word love in many languages. It's more than a tower. It speaks to us. And now, after more than 130 years, the tower still surprises us. It has seen wars and peace. It has seen lovers, poets, presidents, and children. It has watched as the world changed. And yet, it stands, strong, calm, shining. Do you remember the beginning of the story? The Eiffel Tower was hated. It was almost destroyed. But today, it is one of the most loved places in the world. This teaches us something important. Sometimes, great ideas look strange at first. Sometimes, people say, no, but if you believe in your idea, and you build it with love, it can last forever. The Eiffel Tower began as a dream. And now, it helps millions of people dream too.